Alright, hello. This is Warp. I want to do a quick video. I've had this idea for a while, but I wanted to go through each cards in the current Vietnamese pho mod pack and give my thoughts on them. I think it would be a good idea, just knowing that my thought process in banning each card and the balance I've made for each card. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be a fun project. So I'm just gonna do it. So we're just gonna go in order. It's gonna be really long, so I'm just gonna make it quick. Bizzle Countdown, funny card. If the lobby is big enough and you can just kind of sit there, or if you have some tools where it keeps people off of you, it's good synergy for a block build or just being invincible, I guess. Mimi, but it's good. I think it's perfect for a rare and how it is. Barrage. It gives you a lot of bullets. The damage down is kind of a lot, so if you don't care about damage, then usually go to this card. But most of the time, it's not a great pick. But hey, it has its niche. It's pretty good. It's broad, pretty good card. Big bullet essentially does nothing. If it had a damage up on it, I think it'd be pretty good. It doesn't even make the big bullet bigger. It just gives it an aura. Not a good card. Doesn't do anything really. So this is our first banned card because it doesn't do anything. We have Bombs Away. So it spawns a bunch of small bombs when you block. First block card. Yeah, it launches you up a little bit. It's kind of funny. It's kind of memey because if you just go on top of the screen, you just drop bombs everywhere. Funny card. Good block synergies. It's fine as is. Bouncy, good accessible bounce card for the builds that need it. It has a small damage up, so it's not useless like Big Bullet. Pretty good card. And then we have Brawler. This card is nuts. It gives you so much HP. I had to ban it because Tank is really good class. You just build as much HP as you want, and then you just don't die, and then nobody can do anything about it. Very frustrating to play against. Tank is still around, of course, but man, is card good. 200 HP, that's a lot. Buckshot, it's just Barrage but worse. You lose 20%, you had 10% more damage, and it doesn't say it, but it's such a you get lower range, so you can't hit stuff from afar. So awful card, pointless. Burst. Bursts in general have a very unique, character to them. Where if you shoot multiple bullets, like if you have a barrage, it will shoot that twice, or 3 times if because burst gives you +2 bursts. I think. Yeah, which is very good for if you don't care about your max ammo and you just want to shoot a bunch of bullets. Burst is always a good multiplier to your bullets. So probably unintentional, but very funny interaction. Careful planning. There's just a lot of big damage ups in this game. This is one of them, and it's very good. And it was a common, and it was just too much because every game there would just be big bullets everywhere, and it was just so many big bullets. So of course there's a lot of other big bullet cards. So, but this being one of the better ones, we banned it. Chase. A chase is a funny concept. You get movement speed, but most of the time it doesn't do anything, and also 30% health is far too low for the stats it gives you. So in reality, it's 60% movement speed sometimes, and there's a lot of movement speed cards that we'll see, so it's not really worth it. We have Chilling Presence. It's a slight slow. It's an aura and scales off of your character size, so it's pretty good. It just minimal amount of HP, but I think you want HP anyways with this kind of card. It's a small bonus. Not a very good rare, but I think it's good enough to have in the pool. Slow is quite potent when you pair it with the right things, so it's okay card. Now imagine having to hit something for you to do anything with this slow effect. That's called bullets. It doesn't do anything unless you hit your target, but As you'll see, effects that don't just outright kill someone when you hit them aren't very good. So Cold Bullets, not a good card. Doesn't have so much synergy besides, maybe like a barrage. Maybe shoot a bunch of small bullets and you slow everything. Even then, you're not killing them, you're just slowing them. There's a lot of funnier things you can do than just slowing people. Combine, pretty good card. It's one of those big damage ups, but it's -2 ammo. So if you pick it up at the beginning of the game, you're gonna have one shot every way too long, but you have the damage, which is quite balanced. So Combine's a fine card. It's a common, but doesn't show up all the time. It's a good card. Dazzle, same problem as Cold Bullets, just doesn't really do anything when you hit someone. So yeah. Decay, again, one of the big cards in a tank build, because even if you get one shot, you have 4 seconds to live. So yeah, that's just very powerful. There are some decay effects found in other cards. So I get this was also just banned because there were just also other ways of getting it. And there's just way too many ways of getting this effect. You got Defender, fine card, good stats. Want to use it for a block build or an HP build? Perfectly fine card. Kind of weak, but it's okay. We have Demonic Pact. You cost HP, but you basically have infinite fire rate. It's a funny card. It has a little bit of AoE to it too. If you have slow fire rate, like you got a whole bunch of minus attack speeds, and you pick up this card, you're golden. Make sure so it's a funny card. It has a niche. Good card. Drill ammo. For a while this was banned because it was super toxic. But apparently 7 meters is not that much. So it's a fine card. Most of the time it doesn't really do anything. It messes with bounces, so nobody wants that. It messes with the bounces. So drill ammo, fine card. Echo. This was, I think it was an uncommon, and we bumped it to a common because just so many good block synergy cards that. Oh no, I think this was a rare at some point, or in the vanilla game. Actually, I'm not too sure, but this card is really good. It was really good. Now it's actually quite bad. So, common, quite fitting. EMP, you wouldn't believe it, but this card is really good. You would stack it if you stacked it, maybe your number of blocks, or even this card in itself. It would just take control over the entire map. And if you had a lot of these EMPs, it has a lot of knockback too, and it just caused mayhem. It was way too good, covered way too much of the screen. So I know it wasn't common before, but I think there's a lot of other ways blocks can be good, which is not EMP. And then we have Empower, another block synergy card. It's perfectly fine. It's fine. It gives block builds range, which is one of the biggest problems for a block build. Either that or mobility. So Empower, fine card, gives you a little bit of damage on your block as well. Perfectly fine card, great for the arsenal. We have Explosive Bullet, kind of a meme card. You really don't want to pick this up, especially if you have a lot of damage, which is why you would want to pick this card, because the radius scales off of damage. So if you really just want to make a big explosion and die immediately, Explosive Bullet's a fine card. Kind of bad. It's okay. Fastball. Here's we see the start of another class of build called a sniper build, and this is one of the key cards for it because it gives so much bullet speed. There's not a lot of ways of getting bullet speed. There's only a few, and the few are not very strong, but this is one of the more powerful ones. And uncommon, it's very good. And we combine it with other builds that don't necessarily want to be a sniper, like for example, like the barrage build. It's very funny. It's a very good card. Fast forward. It's not necessarily actually a bullet speed buff. It's just projectile speed. So you have the same range, but it just goes faster in that range, which is surprisingly quite unique. You don't see this effect on any other card, and actually quite balanced. Even though it's all upsides, it works. Nobody complains about this card. It's a good card. False Slam. You'll see there's going to be a class of block cards which just slow enemies, and just like Cold Bullets, if you're gonna block next to someone, they better die. So False Slam doesn't really do anything because it just slows them. unless you have another block to follow up with that. Frost Slam, not a very good card. Glass Cannon, another big damage card with quite a serious downside. At the beginning of the game, if you pick this up, then you don't die from 2 bullets anymore, you die from 1. From anyone. Unless they get a damage down, but even then, Glass Cannon. It's an okay damage up because you lose so much HP. So, it's an okay card. But it's another funny damage up. Grow, originally we had this card banned because there's a mod in the mod pack that patches Grow, where it's not funny anymore. If you know vanilla rounds, in the just grows crazy. It's so funny. The bullets get so big, but the patch fixed it. And Grow's not very funny anymore. It doesn't not really much of a damage up unless you already have a lot of damage. So it's actually not a very good card anymore. But we introduced it back in just because we want to see if it got fixed. But Grow's here. It's a card. It's okay card. Healing Field. Yeah, it's a good block for the sense that it's a source of healing, and healing is quite good in this game if you're tanky enough. But for it to muddle up all the other pretty good block cards, and you run into Healing Field way too much, and all you're doing is healing instead of actually killing people, and you just get shot at and you're dead. The field maybe is a little too small in that sense, so not a good card. But it has its niche, and it's quite welcomed, but there's too many other block cards that you want other than Healing Field. Homing, why is this an uncommon? Homing is notoriously very powerful. you never want to. It's never fun playing against this thing. And you'll see in every other pack, homing. Yeah, homing is very powerful. Yeah, no, I'm very happy this card is banned. Huge, very accessible HP up. You'll see Tank is unbanned, but Tank and Huge together made HP way too accessible. So even though it's an uncommon, it's very easy to build Tank. Implode, this was recently unbanned. But it falls in the realm of, block. It doesn't really kill them, but actually apparently pulling someone in when there's a lot of like aura cards, or even just shooting them, it pulls them in, and it's very quick. So if you're on the other end of this, you don't really know where you're going. So actually quite a good card apparently, especially with like Empower or any other block effects where it gives like a ranged option. Implode is quite good. Leech, unfortunately, lifesteal plus HP is not what you want. Lifesteal is normally paired with like at least damage. Also, the HP up is too small. The lifesteal doesn't really pair well with anything. It's also just in the realm of tank, just another tank option, which is kind of annoying. So, no Leech. Just not a fun card to see around. You want to see other stuff more than this. Lifestealer. It's another weaker aura, just like Chilling Presence. It's a fine card. Yeah, it's a fine card. It's probably one of the worst epics, or the rare, whatever you call them. Mayhem. This is your big source of bounces. If you want to be really annoying in a lobby and you just want to fill the screen with bullets, Mayhem is one of them. And just a good, reliable option if you want to get a lot of bounces. Overpower. This is a good block if you build HP, of course. But it's quite powerful if you build tank. So sometimes it's really unfun to play against. But just a really powerful tool for a tank or block that they really need, because bullets also have their sets of fun tools that they have, and so Overpower is just powerful for that tool set as well. So Overpower is good. Parasite, you don't really see people pick this card because the HP up and the damage up is just way too small. The lifesteal is very welcome, and the damage over time is quite funny if you especially have a lot of damage. So you just kind of fling people around and then they die instead of just dying. But Parasite, not a very common card, but it's a good source of lifesteal, and it gives the damage that you're really needing to get that lifesteal. Phoenix, this card's really broken. Lives in general is really broken because you get a good like 5 seconds after you die to respawn, and by the time that 5 seconds happens, either the entire lobby's already dead, or people just waiting there, and then when you come out, what Phoenix does is when you spawn, you block. So you can't even kill them as they respawn. It's way too good of a card. Even if the minus HP, it's too good. Poison, this was banned for a while. It's I mean, you can see on the card, damage almost as much as glass cannon, and then reload speed on top of that, and -1 bullet. Who really cares if you get reload speed, right? Just a very powerful damage up. You usually always pick this up. It's a very good card. Pristine Presence, Pristine Perseverance, sorry. Another insane tank card. 400 HP is just an absurd number to have. Yeah, it's just having to cut through all the HP is pretty insane. I know it's like really a 40% HP buck if you do the math or whatever is, but it's just a very powerful card. Quick reload, not a lot of sources of reload speed in this game, so quick reload is always a welcome sight. Yeah, good card overall. Quick shot, another source of bullet speed, very simple card, good card. Radar shot, it's a damage dealing block card, which is very good, and also synergizes with bullets. And surprisingly enough, even though block cards don't really, build into bullets, sometimes it's very powerful because you have Empower, or you have, you'll see like another similar card that like Empower, and the Radar is very good for that. I'm pretty sure at one point it used to be the catalyst for like a infinitely blocking like kind of build, which is kind of insane. But now we don't really see that. I think I don't know what really caused that. I remember, but Radar Shot's a fine card. Radiance. I really wanted this card to work. It's a very funny card. It does damage when you're reloading, and we will see in there's other cards that do something similar to this, but it's just not powerful enough. It doesn't do enough damage unless you stack like multiple Radiances in a row. I dropped this to a common at one point, wanting to make it work. It just never worked. Maybe because it never really fit into any build. But yeah, very funny card, very unique design, but just never worked. Refresh. Yeah. This is I gotta be honest. This is not a good rare. You have to get your block back when you deal damage, when there's many other ways to get more blocks. But it's just there in case the niche comes up, and also you can't always have good rares out there. So refresh is there. It's just there. Yeah, it's just there. Remote. This is one of the very few sources of pseudo homing, you could say. Yeah, very powerful card. If you have the bullets, then remote is very welcome. You don't see it very often, but it's a very good card. Ricochet, it's a common card with bullet bounces, but it has a downside where you lose bullet speed on bounces. So just a good source of bounces, but you normally don't want to pick it. But if you need the bounces, that card's there. So it has its own niche. Saw has a similar problem with Radiance, where if you're next to someone, they don't immediately die, but instead we can stack this, since you can stack many other blocks, and it's quite potent when you're near someone. But the range is quite small, so you need to get multiple saws or get more HP to get bigger, or saw is kind of like a mid-tier block option, but it's another block option, which is good because sometimes when you're building block, you just don't get those. So just having another one, quite good. Scavenger, a catalyst for quite literally breaking games. Dealing damage reloads your weapon. 0.5 reload time, 0.5 second reload time. Very very innocent looking card, but when you're filling the screen with bullets and you have to, and the only downside is having to reload, never having to reload is quite a good upside. Really, this should be a rare, but just not many opportunities to use this outside of that build. So Scavenger is an okay card, very powerful, but yeah, just perfect where it's at. It's a very powerful uncommon. I think it doesn't need to be any weaker than that. Shield Charge, it fixes one of block's many problems, which is mobility. Having to charge in at someone who's shooting at you, which is very powerful, especially when you get 2 blocks, then you're charging twice, which is very good. Shield Charge, very good card. Pretty much a toolkit in the realm of block builds. Shields Up, pretty broken block card, which is why it's a rare. You can block a lot with this card. It's a very good card, but yeah, That's why it's an rare. You don't see it so often, but when it works, it works. It's very good. Shockwave, unlike Implode, you can push enemies into walls or the outside of the border of the map, or any or even saws. You can deal damage with this card, and when you stack it, the radius grows, and it's very funny. Shockwave is just a funny card, very good tool in a block build's arsenal. Silence. This literally does nothing. You don't. It does nothing. It silences enemies. Okay, they can't block anymore. Now I guess you can shoot them then, but it's not a stun. It won't help you be able to shoot them. It's just not very good. Sneaky is just a good. It's just a very unique. It's a very unique bullet modifier. I know it doesn't have any damage to it, so if your build isn't already good, Sneaky might not really help it. But it's there. Very unique property. So a lot of builds look for that. Spray. This is a catalyst to fill the screen with bullets build. Insane attack speed, gives you good amount of ammo. If you don't really care about damage when you're really building this kind of build anyways, so Spray, very good card, very welcome to see. Unless you're doing the burst build, then maybe not. But Spray's a good card. Static Field, it is stage control for a block build, which is very good. And when you land on someone, they get hurt and they slowed, just very good. When you stack it, the area goes bigger. Static Field, pretty good card. Steady Shot. Another source of bullet speed, not as good as Quick Shot or Fastball, but it's pretty good. Also, HP up. I don't know why, but it's a welcomed addition. Again, not many sources of bullet speed, and the ones that are like this one aren't very potent, so it's fine. Supernova spawns a field that pulls enemies in and stuns after a while. Yeah, it's on a delay, so when you block, it's not immediate. But it's actually quite powerful because the range is quite big. So Supernova, pretty good card. Very welcomed. Tactical Reload. Yeah, you normally don't need to reload when you're building a block build. Especially at a rare. It's just, you want to see more things. So Tactical Reload, not a very good card. Tank. This is one of the primary ways to stack HP in this game. There's pretty wild downsides for a good amount of HP. The tank, instead of what's that card? Huge. It's I think this is fine by itself. Not huge. Target bounce. This is another pseudo homing card, but you can shoot yourself with it because it'll bounce and it'll look at everywhere and say, "Oh wow, there's only one person around. I guess I'll shoot him," which is you who shot the bullet. So target bounce often gets yourself killed, but it's also good homing, as in auto targeting. So. If you somehow can make it work, target bounce is very good. Taste of Blood, movement speed after dealing damage. Just get a movement speed card. Taste of Blood, not very good card. Teleport, this is a very good card. It's like Shield Charge, but you teleport. So I mean you can go through the map geometry, which is powerful if you want to rat, go inside the wall. The teleport's a very good card. Thruster, there's many ways to use this card. It's very funny when you hit someone with it and they just go flying. So, Thruster, very good card. If you can make it work. If it doesn't, then it's kind of a dead card in your build. So, good block effect, a good bullet effect. Because when you hit someone, it either severely hinders them or just straight up kills them. So, good card. Time Detonation spawns a bomb when you hit any bullet. And yeah, I guess it's like explosive bullet, but it's not immediately when the bullet lands, and also the area of effect is a little smaller. But it's you don't normally kill yourself a lot with this card, but when you stack this, the explosive area gets bigger, which is very funny. Those who know, if you stack this card, it's very funny. Toxic Cloud, good thing this is a rare because this card's really good. It's area denial, like Static Field, and the size of the cloud grows when your damage goes up. So if you have a really big bullet, just fill the entire screen with gas, and it's effectively the end of the game. Whoever can last the longest wins. Toxic Cloud, funny card. Again, unique design, which a lot of builds like to see. Trickster, very good way of getting a big bullet, because it's increasing damage after your damage. So it's multiplicatively increasing your damage on every bounce. Trickster is a very good card, very very good card. I just don't see it often, but it's very good. Now Wind Up is the best sniper card. You lose a lot of attack speed, sure, but getting a bullet speed and damage in one package is just far too good. Yeah, because for a sniper build, you want bullet speed, but you also want damage, so you can immediately, one tap someone from across the stage, or like you get a really tight angle. And Wind Up just lets you do that in a singular card, especially when you stack it and find multiple Wind Ups. It's just far too good. Very very hard to play against, especially in the early game when you pick up Wind Up. So yeah, I think that's the vanilla card pool. I was gonna go through the entire thing, but this video is really long, so I think I'll just end it there and then try to find another set to look at. Maybe we'll go to Arcana next, which is all legendaries. So this is gonna be fun to talk about. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.